And what's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode on that the Dynamite Review Show on the Tricology News Talk. As it's Backlash weekend, it's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 weekend, it's Cinco de Mayo weekend. Like everything's going on there this weekend. But before we get into everything that's going on this weekend, let's touch on everything that happened on last night's Dynamite. We're gonna get into that, and then we got a other couple stories that we want to go over while we're going over the show. But before we get into all of that, let's welcome my co-host for this evening, Mr. Leland Benford. What's up, bro?
What is up? May the 4th be with you guys. It is May the 4th, big Star Wars day. I know till later on tonight, I'm going to watch some Star Wars content to be a part of the celebration. And tomorrow is Cinco de Mayo. So, yeah, it's going to be, we are officially in the blockbuster month. This is also my birthday month. May is the kickoff to the blockbusters month, and like you said, Guardian of the Galaxies is coming out this weekend. So the blockbusters have started. Speaking of blockbusters, it sounds like we got some stuff happening over on the AEW side as far as them guys crushing a couple of records with their Wembley pre-sale tickets. I know that's a big story in the news right now. I know some people were talking about why are they letting so many. Like they looked at how the arena is set up, and they were asking why they're only doing this many tickets. But now we know that's like a pre-sale, so there are gonna be more tickets available. But AEW is already starting to have a blockbuster summer with more things to kind of come up.
Yeah, for sure. And also, Star Wars Vengeance of Volume 2. If you guys are a fan of anime, just like me, it's available right now on Disney Plus. So guys, check that out. And I'm glad you mentioned the pre-sales of AEW All In because they officially broke records with the pre-sales. They have sold already 45,000 in pre-sale tickets, beating WCW's record. I think it was for 41,000. And also the general tickets go on sale tomorrow. Tomorrow it will go on sale. But here's the thing. Why? Let me ask you a question, man. Why everything's got to be so political nowadays? Because you have your audience that sees AEW doing good, but they always want to shill on Tony Khan when he's doing something good. I'm like, what is going on here? Like, and just Tony Khan was on ESPN blasting this person here, calling Tony Khan a Nick Khan agent. I'm like, what the hell? Shut the hell up. Like, what the hell? Like, you read that you read that news? You read that?
Yeah, I seen that story. Now, hey, to his point, corporations do stuff like that. Big corporations do stuff like that. I am very convinced that Eric Bischoff works for the WWE in one way, shape, and order. I am very convinced that some of these other commentators that we see bashing AEW who didn't have a reason to bash AEW or wasn't bashing AEW and then out of nowhere bashed AEW are working for WWE in one way or the other. And the thing is, when you have large corporations like that, they have the money to spend to publicly embarrass or publicly denounce a company or this person is a big opponent against it. So I mean, I don't know as much as Tony Khan knows, but maybe there's something to it. Now I see what you're saying though. It shouldn't be all about that, and maybe Khan has a better way that he can approach.
Yeah, and then people want to talk about, oh, yeah, they can't do this like this in the States. I'm like, bruh, y'all need to chill out. Like, for real. AEW's been around for like 4 years now. And there's some things that's better than WWE. And now, given the fact WWE did some things that's better than AEW, it's competition. You're supposed to be in the middle. You can't be left or right like these politicians in this political world. I'm in the middle. I like to see things. I like to see good wrestling. I like to see good stories. I like to see stuff that's going to entertain me. That's what I'm here for. Definitely.
Exactly. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm one of those people who chose a side, and I didn't choose a side based on just because it's an AEW thing. I chose a side because I just wasn't satisfied with the content at the time WWE was putting out. Now, mind you, I was a WWE fan during some of the hardest times to be a WWE fan. And I mean, let's talk about the Seth Rollins and Fiend match where Seth was disqualified in a no disqualification match. So I was a WWE fan when the content and what was they put and the product they were putting out was just really bad. And AEW and Ring of Honor and New Japan, a lot of these other promotions did give me that alternative that I was looking for, and that's why I jumped ship. But to say that, it's kind of hard not to still be a WWE fan since some of my fondest memories is from WWE. Some of my best moments and best matches I ever saw in my life was in WWE. So I went to WrestleManias, I bought the tickets, I went to the shows, I worked NXT. It was just they kind of let me down with the content they were doing, and I'm happy to hear they're doing better. I'm happy to hear that their show is turning around because I don't want to see WWE fall at all. I want to see them keep doing good because they make wrestling acceptable in millions of households that gives the other wrestlers a chance to eat at the table and provide food for their family doing what they love to do. So it's hard to compare these companies though. I mean, it was easier to compare WCW and WWE when that war was going on because WCW was around longer than WWE at that time. They were around longer than WWF at that time. So WWF was still a new company when WCW was already in different forms. You had WCCW and all these different things, but it was already a working company. AEW is brand new. AEW's been out 4 or 5 years. You know what I mean? Like, AEW is the new kid on the block. Now, you cannot deny that AEW has done things better than most brand new wrestling companies. I mean, Impact has been around longer than AEW, but Impact is what, number 3 or 4 in the list? You see what I'm saying? So you can't deny that they found a place in the marketplace. They worked it and they are making the best show for them. And I think to compare the two is apples and oranges. Yeah, they're both a fruit, okay? But they're totally different. And I think sometimes WWE hardcore fans get a little upset when AEW actually achieves something great. They try to find a way to demean it, or they find a way to belittle it, or make it seem like it's not as big as a deal. And it may not be a big deal when it comes to WWE. WWE selling 35,000 tickets is a bad day, okay? Especially if the auditorium holds 90. They're looking to sell that thing out. I mean, they just had over 100,000 people at WrestleMania, but they also have been here much, much longer, and they're the number one juggernaut company. They have their foothold in it. They're on their how many WWE games is it? The AEW still can't put out their first one. So, but I say give credit where credit is due. That's all I'm saying. It's impressive for AEW. They're still making history. They still have They still have things to do. So I'm happy for them. I'm a big supporter of AEW, and I love watching the company grow. Now, I can't say people can watch WWE grow. They have already grown. You're watching a very seasoned product. But for me, it's exciting to watch this company hit new milestones.
Yeah, exactly. Especially in the UK. Now, no disrespect to the other countries, but the UK out of all the other countries, in my view, is the best wrestling company because that they know how to pour energy in any wrestling show, whatever it's on TV or on non-TV episodes. Now, 45,000 in pre-sales. Just imagine how many tickets will be sold to the general audience. Now, if you're gonna ask, is this gonna do better than Clash of the Castle like last year? I don't know, because WWE is going back to London in July, 4th of July weekend for Money in the Bank. So we don't know how much how many people are going to be in attendance for that one, because they already said that Roman Reigns is going to be there. So if Roman Reigns is there, then the tickets might go up. So we don't know yet. But all I'm saying, the UK, out of other countries that I know, is the best wrestling country out of all the other countries, because they know how to be excited for a show.
Huge wrestling presence there. And I mean, if you look at AEW on their TV ratings, AEW often beats WWE. So this is why they're going there, because they know they have a fan base. And the fact they sold those tickets so fast shows you that there is an interest there. And you know what? It's cool to see another company go and, put, and be able to draw numbers, and put people in seats. And it's good for WWE to see that, because it's going to make them a better company. Competition is good. But WWE has such a big, head start, and that's not to say if both of these companies start at the same time, because Vince was a different kind of, beast. Tony Khan is a different type of manager and owner and promoter. He's a fan owning a wrestling business, and that's what we're seeing with AEW. He's a fan owning a wrestling business. So I think it's going to be a great show. It won't be their last. And the thing is, Tony Khan is selling this thing already, and we don't even have a card in front of us.
Well, we can always predict what the cards will be, because we keep saying, oh, it's going to be CM Punk and FTR versus the Elite. We can name our dream matches, but first we got to get through Double or Nothing, and we got to get through Forbidden Door, because All In is not until Labor Day weekend. Well, the week before Labor Day weekend. So we got a long way to go. So it's just only a matter of time. So, but a huge congratulations to AEW making 45,000 in pre-sales. We can only imagine how much tickets will be sold to the general audience. So that's a huge congratulations there. So we cannot wait for All In in the end of August. So going into our next story, Trinity Fatu, also known as Naomi, will be making her debut on Impact. So she broke her silence ever since walking out with Sasha Banks from WWE. So she finally broke her silence, and she kind of explained what happened by the time that she was off. So I'm glad to see Trinity back in wrestling. So I think she's definitely going to do some great things in Impact. That gave me more reason to watch Impact more. Now that Trinity's there, I do believe she's going to be a world champion over there and try to elevate herself. And will she ever go back to WWE? I don't know. Will she come to AEW? I don't know. So she just started at Impact, so we'll see but what she does over there.
Yeah, congratulations. Congratulations to her, man. A new path, a new place. They both left. They stuck to her. They stuck to their guns. And so, hey, she has a new home. Let's see what kind of starting, what they can do with it there.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited about what she's going to do for over there. And this is a more interesting topic here. So have you seen the new Brick Breaker t-shirt?
Yeah, saw the new t-shirt.
So what this happened on Twitter. So a fan say, if someone would have bought that t-shirt, and if people don't know the wrestler or not familiar with the wrestling company, do you think that promotes domestic violence?
That is a far fetch for me. A woman with a black eye doesn't mean that a man gave it to her. It doesn't mean, I think it shows the toughness of a woman. But it doesn't mean art is to be interpreted, so if someone looked at that and that's the first thing they go to, that's their filter. But it's not that, But yeah, interesting take. But if they asked a simple question, hey, what's that shirt about? Oh, she's a wrestler. Oh, okay. She's in a contact, type of sport. Those things happen in professional wrestling. So I don't see how it promotes, you know, domestic violence. I think if there was a picture of her with a black eye and a guy in the back of the shirt with a wife beater on, then yeah, you can draw some conclusions there. But just a woman with a black eye, you can't just assume a man gave it to her.
Yeah, that was the talk of the town on that shirt, especially
Really?
on.
That was
Yeah,
wow. That's crazy.
yeah, it happened on Twitter, and then Britt Breaker tried to defend the shirt. I'm like, bro, you had plenty other shirts that and then she even put out the education these nuts onto that fan. Like it went on and on, but I don't know, man, because like if you walk around the street wearing that shirt, and then like people who are not familiar with the wrestler or who are maybe not familiar with wrestling, some say might call it domestic violence, but if you really got to know who this person is and they're really a wrestler, I'm like, okay, I understand. But like I get what that person is going. I kind of understand that, but like I wouldn't wear for me, I wouldn't wear the shirt. I would wear the one that she had the bloody face, the one she wrestled Thunder Rosa in that lights out match. That I would wear that because it kind of reminds you of Stone Cold winning your blood. Yeah, so that would make sense. And there was no complaints about that. So I would wear that instead. I will wear that.
Yeah, I think people just looking for something to argue. But it was still a very much heel move for Jericho to do that.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that part and in a second because that was the opener of tonight's Dynamite. But last story, Backlash is in Puerto Rico this weekend, and this is WWE's first pay-per-view in Puerto Rico since 2005. New Year's Revolution.
Cool. And I don't Bad Bunny's supposed to be there, right?
Yep, and he's gonna be wrestling too.
That's pretty cool. Puerto Rico, I'm pretty sure is like territory that don't get much, wrestling. Come there also. Like 2005. Yeah, that's going on 20 years. So I know they're going to enjoy that night.
Oh yeah, for sure. Now AEW might need to start going to the island somewhere, but we'll see. But going back to the Britt Breaker situation, so Chris Jericho tried to antagonize Adam Cole wearing that shirt. Now going back to the shirt, I think that shirt was that should have been made for on TV, not to be sold as a merchandise, but it happens. It is what it is. But Jericho came out wearing that shirt in the opening match, feature a 8-man tag team match featuring Adam Cole and the return of Roger Strong to the ring, Bandito, and the AEW International Champion Orange Cassidy, which is he is one win away from making 100 in his in the singles competitive. And they went against Daniel Garcia, Jake Hager, Matt Menard, and Angelo Parker of the JSS. So it ended with Team Adam Cole getting the win, and then soon after Cole's team win, he spring up to the ramp and then speared Jericho behind the set of the announcers table. And then the fight was on, and the security had to escort Adam Cole out of the arena. And Jericho's like, "Get him out! He's a criminal! He's a menace! He's a menace!"
Yeah, that was hilarious.
So
also real quick, Roderick Strong is in AEW. Excuse me. Roger Strong is in AEW. Adam Cole is in AEW. Bobby Fish is not. And Kyle O'Reilly is injured. Do you think they will replace Bobby Fish?
I don't think they're gonna replace him. I think they're good with with just Kyle O'Reilly, and then because that could be a good trio there to go after the trios title one day. So I think that they're going to be fine because the Undisputed Era started off with a trio before they became a foursome. So they should be fine. Yeah,
Also,
yeah.
I'm happy to see Roddy Strong on my TV. I was such a fan of him in NXT in the Black and Gold days, watching the Undisputed Era come together when he was, was against them for a long time, but then when he finally turned, I think it's really good to see him. I'm happy to see him working again. Such a talented guy. Always remind me of a wrestler we don't really speak of because he did horrible things, but Chris Benoit. But he always kind of gave me that aggressiveness, and then even his shape and physique and being the backbreaker specialist. I just think he always gave me that kind of vibe. But yeah, really good to see him in AEW. I like his theme song and everything. Can't wait to see what the future holds with him, man. I know there's gonna be some banger matches coming soon with him.
Well, he's definitely gonna have Adam Cole's back because he's gonna need it in his feud with with Jericho. So it's a good thing Adam Cole has some backup. So yeah, we're just waiting to see what Kyle O'Reilly's gonna return. So it's just only a matter of time. But before we get back to Adam Cole, Renee Paquette was backstage with Jungle Boy Jack Perry and Darby Allin to talk about the main event tag team match with Double or Nothing AEW title implications. Perry said he and Allin may not like each other, but they busted their asses to get here, and they was in AEW since day one. Allin said he doesn't care how he get there, but they will get to their first AEW pay-per-view. Tonight, it's showtime. So
watching
you kind of
these
already
guys.
know that Sting already passed the torch to Darby Allin because once this is his Sting's last year in AEW. So once that year contract is done, is officially over. It's officially over.
Yeah. And it's kind of cool that Sting is going to end his career in AEW. That's pretty monumental, because AEW is always going to be a part of Sting's story now, because he did his final chapter there. So that's pretty badass.
Yep, absolutely. And then going back to Adam Cole, the backstage security was escorting Adam Cole out of the arena, where Jericho barking orders to get him out. Britt Baker showed up and slapped that taste out of Jericho's mouth and knocking her down on the floor until she was taken away by security too. So I kind of like this rivalry right now because like in the past Jericho feuds, like they had to go through the Jericho Appreciation Society, but this right now, they're taking it to a more personal feud, which I like it more. It's definitely going to add more feuds to when they do Adam Cole versus Chris Jericho at Double or Nothing, which I believe they're going to do. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I'm really excited to see Jericho versus Adam Cole, only because Adam Cole really based his career off Jericho. To see these guys in the ring, I want to see what chemistry they kind of have, what kind of story they tell in that ring. As far as like who wins, who loses, they're most likely going to push Adam Cole. Jericho is there to get guys over, pretty much. He got Action Andretti over in a night. So I really do want to see Adam. They're pushing Adam Cole to be the top guy, right? Like Adam Cole is going to be Tony Khan, Shawn Michaels in the 90s. So they're really pushing Adam Cole, and who's the best way to get over on this? The first ever AEW champion. So Adam Cole is definitely destined to hold that belt at one point in time.
Yeah, absolutely. So
I'm going to say this as well. I do wish Adam Cole had more of a like wrestler's kind of physique. And I know that's like a note that he has gotten a lot in his career. I know it's something that WWE fans even notice. Like, look at Adam Cole NXT versus Adam Cole AEW. You know, it looked like he was just a much better, like, you know, physical shape in WWE. So I don't know when AEW is going to start having some of those same kind of physique standards. I don't know if Tony Khan is going to go into that direction. But if you're pushing him to be this top guy, you know, I really wish that, you know, he had that kind of Shawn Michaels-esque, you know, physique to go along with it because he is such a talented wrestler, such a talented promo. But he just doesn't look threatening, you know, to me. So that's my only thing. That's my only hiccup with Adam Cole. But I love watching his matches.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a banger there. So we see in the next couple of weeks how they're going to keep building up this rivalry here. So it's going to be very interesting. So speaking of more interesting, the Blackpool Combat Club was in the back where Bryan Danielson said he's better than any wrestler of the world today. He even mentioned Bret Hart's quote when he said, "I'm the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be." He said that was a joke. It was like, oh, whoa. He even go Bret Hart in there. So and he says, unless it's one of the he said he's better than any other wrestler in the world today, unless it's any one of those men standing behind him, which is the BCC. Danielson hopes Willie Yuta is better than him someday, as the BCC is about to bring out the best professional wrestlers possible, unlike the Elite. Moxie said they are just blades searching for a piece of the iron to sharpen each other. The Elite should thank them, and a high level equal bigger devils. Moxley brought up his steel cage match with Kenny Omega next week and said that their feud in 2019 might as well have been a decade ago, since this is a new Jon Moxley who will leave one hell of a mark on Moxley. Now, this kind of changed my predictions for Double or Nothing. I think this is just a prediction. I think Kenny Omega might beat Jon Moxley in a steel cage, and then we'll get a one-on-one with Kenny Omega and Bryan Danielson, and then you could do a tag team match with the Young Bucks versus Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli.
Yeah, that's definitely possible. Yeah, but I think the steel cage also is the precursor to Blood and Guts, like we've been talking about. But yeah, it's a bunch of ways they can kind of do this thing, and also we do need that Kenny Omega versus Danielson rematch. You know, because remember they had that match, but you know it was a draw. It was a draw, 60-minute time limit. Or 20-minute time limit for that first match. So yeah, I think we're definitely owed a Omega and Danielson one-on-one match.
Yeah, that's why I say it should be a one-on-one with Kenny Omega and Bryan Danielson, because you just mentioned when they made one-on-one at Grand Slam, it was a draw. So it only made sense for them to go at it once again. But this time, Kenny Omega is the babyface here, and Bryan Danielson is the heel. So, yeah.
And then also Danielson has a couple of losses on his record. Omega has a couple of losses on his record, so it's not too crazy for any one of them to go over for each other. You know, so there's different circumstances.
Yeah, it's just one battle because we all know the war is going to end in blood and guts. But we just don't know who's going to be on one side, who's going to be on one side or the other. Because blood and guts ain't going to happen until like after they've been endorsed. So we got a long way to go. So these are just a couple more battles until we get to the end of the war. So yeah. So we will see a lot more. And moving on, we got Saraya defeating Will Nightingale. So a pretty good match for Saraya. Didn't get too many hard bumps, which was okay. It was fine. So after the match, the Outcast beat down Nightingale until Hikaru Shida made her return with a kendo stick. Shida hesitated and then smirked and hugged the Outcast as she grabbed the spray paint and was about to tan Nightingale until the AEW's Women's World Champion Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker appeared behind the Outcast. Shida smirked again, and it was just all a swerve as Saraya was spray paint in the face and then clocked with a kendo stick. And also, Toni Storm and Ruby Soho was clipped by a kendo stick as well. The Outcasts were all laid out, and Shida sprayed AEW on all three of the members of the Outcast. Now, with Shida back, I don't think this is just a prediction. If we don't get if Jamie Hayter doesn't get a one-on-one match for her championship, then we might see a 6-woman tag team match with the Outcast versus Hayter, Britt, and Hikaru Shida at the pay-per-view at Double or Nothing.
Yeah, that's one way of doing it. First off, Shida had me fooled. I thought that was the moment where she goes heel. So she definitely had me fooled. And to see her do the swerve, I was confused by this segment. I wasn't sure why Britt wasn't attacking the Outcast at all. That was kind of confusing to me because, I mean, last time y'all was in a ring together, they were beating with a kendo stick. So I thought that was a missed opportunity. I don't know why she didn't give Britt the kendo stick so she can get a couple of whacks in. But she just kind of, stood there. I don't know, maybe she's injured and wasn't clear, so she just had to stay, doing that. But it was a little odd. I'm not sure. But yeah, this is kind of shaping up. We got the AEW Originals versus the Outcasts coming up, and now it's this third. Now we got a 3 versus 3 going on. So yeah, the story is definitely heating up in a big way.
Yeah. Now I think it's time for Hikaru Shida to start doing a promo. It could be like your normal, the enemy of the enemy is my friend, or the enemy that was once my enemy is my friend now in this war, or versus the homegrown team versus the Outcast. So yeah, and yeah, because if you think way back, Saraya and Toni Storm was once friend of Shida. But soon as Shida seen what Saraya and Toni Storm were doing, like Shida said she don't want to be a part of it, but now she had to join a team who was once her enemy, but now is her friend now going into this war right now. So we need to have a promo on that, some kind of promo next week, so that can lead up to that trio match.
For sure, yeah. We need to really hear from Shida to see what her real, purpose is with this teaming up with her former enemies.
And speaking of trios, we go to the trios champions, the House of Black, and they said that the trios title was tainted, so they introduced the open house. Any 3 competitors can team up for a title shot, but under house rules, which includes a 20-second count outs, no rope breaks, and DQ will be enforced. Juilliard's welcome us all to the open house. Now, they can't really say it's an open house, because I mean that it's good on their promos when they say that, but in actual reality, it's not really an open house, because if it was a really open house, then they would do like an open challenge for the trios titles, but it's not an open challenge. In this next matchup, which is a trios battle royal to determine the new number 1 contenders for the trios titles. So this was a pretty good battle royal, but in the end, it was the Acclaim and Billy Gunn who won the Trios Battle Royal. Now, with this, the House of Black has a good storyline recently after winning the titles from the Elite. Well, the rematch what they had and the first one they had, it was really a banger. But afterwards, that's not really good with the trios titles. So with the Acclaim and Billy Gunn being the new number one contenders, we can finally see a storyline progress here, and then maybe that story can move forward to Double or Nothing. Maybe this can move forward.
True. This definitely can move into, and that's the best thing about like with AEW, kind of like how they spread out their pay-per-views. We have all these months of kind of storytelling, and then when the pay-per-view is right there, everything starts to come to the head.
Oh, and speaking of storyline, I also forgot to mention this. So you know that AEW Dark Elevation are canceled, right?
Mm-hmm.
So with that in mind, and we all know that Collision is coming soon. So you have 2 hours of Dynamite, you have 1 hour of the AEW All Access, and I think Ring of Honor is 2 hours. I think that one's also 2 hours. Rampage is 1 hour, and I do suspect Collision is going to be 2 hours there. So that's kind of still 7 hours because before AEW Dark Elevation was canceled, it was still 7 hours. So you gotta wait from the dark TV tapings and all that stuff. So all the people that used to be on Dark Elevations, now it's time to put them on television and start progressing more stories, not just in AEW, but also for Ring of Honor as well.
Yeah. They need Ring of Honor to start having that showtime. Why not build up a fan base on YouTube? Because I think with Ring of Honor, man, they're really kind of starting over. You got your Ring of Honor diehards, but they're not. There's no new Ring of Honor fans because the product is it comes in little spurts here and there. So now they can have a weekly show. And then also, Ring of Honor can kind of be AEW's developmental. Ring of Honor is unique because it has, prestige. It has champions. Most of our favorite wrestlers today, worked in Ring of Honor at one point in time. So it's always been kind of a developmental promotion. So let it be exactly what that is. Ring of Honor is AEW's promotional not promotional, but training. It's this training program. It's their NXT. So I'm excited to see. I'm okay with Dark going away. I love Dark, but you already know who was going over, and Dark was kind of used to make the numbers on the records matter. That Dark Order still had 20 wins, 15 losses. So you can't say they're jobbers, but anytime they got to Dynamite, they would job. And anytime they went on Dark, they would win. So I'm okay with Dark going away.
Yeah, but now we're just waiting to see when Collision is going to be coming. But
facts.
Continue on. Renee Paquette was backstage with Sammy Guevara, who didn't say anything before MJF interrupted. Guevara said he saw the footage from last week and MJF bailed out on him. MJF started fake crying, cited that his bad back and needed room, and then Guevara smooched him on the forehead, say he shouldn't have never doubted MJF. They both hugged, knowing that they were well with each other. It's full of crap and everything. So they act like they was best buds. Try to go into the tag team main event tonight. But that smile is going to be wiped away. And we'll tell you why and when we get to the main event later on. But Kenny Omega and Don Callis were backstage talking about John Moxley's plan for next week in the steel cage. Callis had the camera zoomed in on his stitches, said that he had to look at that every day because of what Moxley did to him. Every day, Callis reminds that Moxley could have the hardest hands in wrestling, but with Callis's brain and Omega's talent, Moxley will find out it will all come to an end. Omega said Moxley might made them both bleed might make them both bleed in the cage, but everything comes to an end in Detroit next week. Moxley made it personal for what he did to the Butts, to the Butts, to Kesha and Callis. I'm surprised he didn't mention Heyman and Page there, but yeah, we all know what happened to him. But yep, that's your main event for next week. Inside the steel cage, yeah, it's gonna be a banger and a bloody banger, I should say.
Definitely, definitely, man. That scar on Kyla's head, I would be mad if I went to work one day and came home with a scar like that. That I might have to see every day. That is crazy. But yeah, I think this whole Elite versus BEC, man, the blowout from this at Blood and Guts, oh man, they're really doing a good job. I really want to see these guys just get unleashed and go at each other.
Absolutely. And then we got a Wardlow squash smash. So we going back to these squash smashes again. So Wardlow beat this unknown guy from Baltimore. So it was real quick. Don't need to go into that. But after the match, Wardlow called out Christian Cage and Luchasaurus for an open challenge. Cage came out along with Luchasaurus, ran down the crowd saying it won't be happening in Baltimore. Then Cage said that title shot doesn't belong to Luchasaurus. It belongs to Cage and himself. That definitely caught Wardlow and Art Anderson by a little surprise. And then Cage went to the back. Now, I was a little surprised too, because I thought it was gonna be Luchasaurus versus Wardlow, but now it's gonna be Christian Cage versus Wardlow. Even Luchasaurus was surprised by this. Like he was kind of shocked at 2 at first. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a whole just Luchasaurus thing. He said, nah, this is also, I want to get in the match. Now, maybe he has a chance of winning if he has, Luchasaurus on the outside with him. That's going to be interesting. So yeah, it's I'm happy. You know what? I'm happy that they finally found a good opponent for Wardlow, and it's not only just somebody of size and stature and strength, but someone with the wits of Christian Cage, someone with the brain, someone, schemer, someone that you can't necessarily beat with just brute force, because he's kind of more of a Joker type villain, right? He may have thought ahead of you in a couple of steps and set you up for things. So this is a better villain to Wardlow's babyface, because it's going to rely more on Wardlow's physique and incredible strength, and not just what he can do in the ring, because Christian Cage may set him up outside of the ring. So I think they got me hooked with this one. I kind of want to see where it goes. And when Christian Cage is for him, I'm like, okay, so we're gonna have a match with him, but will Luchasaurus be the determining factor in how that match goes?
Yeah, I'm kind of interested to see where that match going to go there too. But moving on, Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dunn, Jeff Jarrett, and Satnam Singh all made a visit to Mark Briscoe's house in Sandy Fork, Delaware, to help him on the farm as a sign of good faith. Jarrett was about to charade everyone with a Reddit. He sang the song to Reddit with my baby, so he had the guitar tonight. When Papa Briscoe walked up on them, Papa tried to toss some sense into Mark, saying that, "Oh, Jay Lethal is fine. We way back. But as far as everyone else, you need to keep your eyes on them. He don't trust them." So Lethal and Jarrett issue a challenge to FTR for a tag team title shot at Double or Nothing, and asked Briscoe the strategy how to beat them because the Briscoes and the FTR had a 3-match banger. So, but before Briscoe can answer anything, the video ended there. So and I know Eric from the for Respect the Combat podcast is going to be upset that Jeff Jarrett is getting a title match. I know he's going to be upset, but the story here is who Mark Briscoe is going to lie himself with, because like you said, he has history with Jay Lethal and he has a history with FTR. So Mark Briscoe kind of is stuck in the middle of this. So I think he's going to be the deciding factor of when they do have that tag team title match at Double or Nothing.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm happy to see how they're bringing in the Briscoes. It's sad to see that this happened after the tragic death of Jay, but yeah, it's good to see those guys doing these little vignettes. I remember how I was hating on Jeff Jarrett. I'm actually happy to see Jeff Jarrett. Like, he is a nostalgia pop. He is a veteran. I think the match he had last week with Dax was really good. A couple of stumbles here and there, but it was a good match. And next week they said that we're going to hear from FTR, so we'll see kind of what happens with the whole FTR thing. I don't think FTR is dropping those belts anytime soon. I can tell you that, especially to Jeff Jarrett, in my opinion.
Nah, I don't think they dropping the titles, but I think people are just upset that FTR win the titles, and now their first title offense got to be against Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. That's why I say Eric from the Respect the Combat podcast is going to be upset about it. So it is what it is. Going to be upset.
Yeah, it is what it is.
But moving on, we finally have that one-on-one match with Ricky Starks and Juice Robinson that we was for it again. And now Ricky Starks did defeat Juice Robinson tonight, so that gotta made me thinking: are we gonna see Ricky Starks versus Jay White at the pay-per-view, or are we gonna get a tag team match with Ricky Starks and Shawn Spears versus Jay White and Juice Robinson at the pay-per-view? What would you if you was booking the show, which one you think is better? Ricky Starks versus Jay White or a tag team match? If you was booking the show.
Do that one more time. Who was I booking?
Ricky Starks versus Jay White, or Ricky Starks and Shawn Spears versus Jay White and Juice Robinson?
If I'm doing the pay-per-view, I'll probably do the tag team with Stark, Spears, Robinson, and Jay White, only because I get more bodies in the show, more names in the show. But I feel like Jay White and Shawn Spears would have an interesting match by themselves because they're different statures, different aggression levels. Spears is a veteran. Even though he doesn't look it, he's a veteran. But I think push come to shove, now that we had a chance to see Starks versus Robinson last night. Also, that match last night was really good. There was a moment where Starks got thrown into the steps, and you can see instant bruising, instant, redness. I can tell Starks was hurt last night during that match because that looked really gnarly. But yeah, really good match between the two. But I think if I had to do it for Double or Nothing, I would do the tag team.
Yeah, Ricky Starks picked up the win against Juice Robinson, and then Jay White, who was at backstage during the match, he came back out. It blindsided Starks immediately after the bell, and then tried to do the Blade Runner, but Starks spin out, tried to do the Ramboy, but then Robinson saved White. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely. I mean, I like the story they're telling with all these guys, the four pairings of these superstar, not superstar, but these wrestlers. And I think it's a good way to get Jay White into it. To be like completely honest, I wasn't too familiar with Jay White's in New Japan work. I don't watch New Japan too often, so this is a great introduction to the American audience who may not be too familiar with his work over in Japan. I'm also a big fan of Juice Robinson. I liked him when he was back on NXT. With his whole hippie gimmick that he saved the world gimmick he used to do. Yeah, I think Juice Robinson and Jay White, even though I know they won't stay tag team long because they're both single competitors, but they're in this group. It's a good pairing and I want to see if the Bullet Club Gold will grow. The BCG will it grow? Will new members join? Will it only have to be New Japan guys, or will it also be AEW guys who want to join the Bullet Club Gold? How awesome would it be for Bullet Club Gold to go against Bullet Club Originals? But where's Carl Anderson? where are those guys at? But yeah, see the kind of like how would they advance this Bullet Club thing inside of AEW?
Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting how they're gonna do this rivalry at Double or Nothing. I do expect it might be Ricky Starks versus Jay White, and then you have Shawn Spears and Juice Robinson opposite corners. But they might do a tag team match. I don't know, but we'll see how that goes from there. And then we got a promo hyping up the the deletion match at the Hardy Compound tomorrow night on Rampage, which starts at an early time at 6:30 because of the NBA playoffs. So yeah, that will be the main event of tomorrow's Rampage, the Firm deletion match with the Firm versus Matt Hardy, Private Party, and the Hardy Boys, Hook and Isaiah Cassidy. So that's your the deletion there to hype out Rampage. Then we got Mark Briscoe versus Preston Vance. The TBS champion Jade Cargill will be in action, and then we got the Lucha Bros and Fandango versus the QTV of Powerhouse Hobbs, QT Marshall, and Aaron Solo. And then next week's Dynamite, Kenny Omega versus John Moxley in the steel cage. Or Orange Cassidy versus Daniel Garcia for the AEW International Championship. Can Orange Cassidy hit a 100? We'll see. And then we'll hear from the AEW Tag Team Champions FTR to talk about the issue challenge from Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett.
Sound like a stacked show.
Absolutely. And then before we get to the main event, Darby Allin and Jack Perry was hyping up each other before the main event as Allin walked off, but MJF entered the room and he told Perry if he betrays Allin tonight, MJF will offer him a spot next to the throne since he is not world champion material. Perry said he doesn't want to be the next to the throne. He wants the crown. And then Allin walked back in. But he was ready to hit at MJF with his skateboard. And then MJF left. He said, I don't want no trouble. I don't want no trouble. I'm out of here. And then Perry told him not to worry about when Darby Allin said, what was that all about? And then tried to fist bump Allin, but Allin refused, not believing him. So that was your typical MJF try to plant the seeds and try to like stir the pot between Darby Allin and Jungle Boy there. So, like I said, it didn't work out as he hoped. So we get to the main event, which was the Four Pillars tag team match. So this ended with MJF being paranoid as it is. So that led to Guevara sucker punching him, and that ended that relationship. But it ended with Darby Allin blind tag himself in, hit the coffin drop. That nearly took out Jungle Boy in the process as well. But he also got the pin on Sammy Guevara. And that show ended with a graphic showing that the main event for Double or Nothing is a fatal four-way. And then MJF was pissed and mad. It was funny. Oh, my God. He tried everything to avoid the fatal four-way. But like we keep telling y'all, we've been telling y'all on this show every week, it's going to be a fatal four-way. They were just trying to kill TV time every week. They're trying to make you think, oh, it's not going to be a fatal four-way. But we kept telling y'all, it's going to be a fatal four-way. And it's now official.
It's official. Yeah, I also think it was really good. Finally, we get a chance to see the breakdown of excuse my language. We finally see the breakdown of MJF and Sammy Guevara, which their relationship bothered me in many ways. But Sammy Guevara did his part very, very well. I love the promo that MJF and Sammy Guevara did together with the whole laugh. I said, "Hey, man, I watched the show back. There was nobody in there." MJF saying, "I had a real bad back spasm from carrying this company for many years." So a lot of good stuff there. Don't want to see them ever again kiss each other, though. That'd be great. No more kisses on the foreheads. Yeah, so fatal four-way it is. We kind of all knew it. Everyone knew it except for MJF, and even he knew it. So now that it's official, we get to see these four guys go out there and burn the house down. Really great match last night. For them to be very young, this felt like a very classic type of wrestling match. It didn't feel like, a bunch of like I'm not gonna lie, the match between Jungle Boy and Guevara, too many spots. It was too many spots. It was too much of the flying all over the place. Before they had a chance to even grapple, they're jumping from ring post to ring post. So, but this one felt like a good classic match that I believe, showed that they can put on a really good match, the four of them. And still sharp as steel, iron sharp as iron. And these guys are the pillars. So now, do I see any of these guys having that belt on them anytime soon? Nah, other than MJF, because MJF is a draw. He's even though he can be despicable, he's the one you want to watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's not to take away anything from Darby or Jungle Boy or Sammy Guevara. I'm fans of all those guys, but MJF is willing to say and do things that the others aren't necessarily willing to do. And maybe this will help the rest of them. Now they're in direct competition with them and have to share the screen with him.
Yeah. And like we said before, MJF is not losing the title, but it's just a question of who's going to eat the pinfall. That's the real question there. But overall, this is going to be a banger fatal four-way main event. Now we just got to see what the rest of the card is going to be looking like. And in case y'all didn't know, Double or Nothing will be on Memorial Day weekend. It will be stat because we're getting Night Champions on Saturday, and then you got a double header with NXT background. Of course, the Double or Nothing. That's going to be a crazy weekend, just like this weekend. So just prepare. Just be prepared, y'all. It's gonna be a crazy month in the month of May. So so just be ready, y'all. And pretty good Dynamite tonight. It wasn't that great. It wasn't that bad either. So it's just a matter of how we're gonna put all the match card together for Double or Nothing, and then we move forward to Forbidden Door in June. And then do All In August. So we got a pretty stat summer coming up.
Indeed, we definitely do. One One thing I'm excited about, guys, is next week AEW is going to be in Detroit. I will be in Detroit, and I will be attending that show. So really excited to kind of come back and share my experience in Detroit with you guys. I'll take a bunch of pictures. You can follow me on my Instagram at Leland Benford or my Facebook at Leland Benford. There will be my stories and everything like that I'll be sharing while I'm there. My first time going to a wrestling show at the Little Caesars Arena. First time going to Little Caesars Arena. That arena was built since I've moved out of that city. But Detroit is where my love of wrestling was formed. I used to go to the WWE house shows. I went to a couple of Raw, SmackDowns, a couple of pay-per-views, and I went to the WrestleMania in Detroit. So Detroit is the city where I went to my first wrestling show. I took a real quick story. First time going to a wrestling show, I was like 11. I had on a Stone Cold Steve Austin jean jacket, jean vest with the skull on the back. I had on a Stone Cold Steve Austin shirt. And I remember the first match was like the Hillbillies versus, I don't know, some other good guys. But the Hillbilly guys, this is my first time. I had really good seats. I was really close to the ring. And I remember seeing these Hillbilly guys walk to the ring. And I went to the barricade and I yelled at the guy, "You suck," right? The wrestler, the big giant guy, I gotta look up and see what his name is, but it was one of the bigger Hillbilly guy. He looked down at me and he pointed directly at me and he said, "You get in this ring and I'll tear you from limb to limb." And he made a ripping motion with his hand. And I remember I was terrified at that moment because at home I could scream at the TV that the guy sucked, and they did not hear me. This was a different experience, and he scared the crap out of me. And I went back to my seat, and I never did it again. So that was like my first WWE house show experience, being terrified by the Hillbilly.
Yeah, I'll be sure to look out for you next week. And I won't be surprised if I see you at SummerSlam as well.
Back in Detroit, you're right. I might have to check that one out. Detroit is a really good wrestling city. It's right next to Canada. A lot of great Canadian fans come over the Ambassador Bridge to watch the show. So yeah, definitely a great wrestling city, Detroit.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then but other than that, anything else you want to plug in before we wrap up?
Man, so we have a premiere date for Empathy. We're doing it at the end of July. Empathy is in its very final stages. Our color grade, we just got the first draft of our color grade. We're getting the first draft of the post audio, and our composer is working on the music. So we are really excited with the process of this movie and can't wait for you guys to see it. But it is just a few months away, just 2 months away, where we can watch this movie and then have and talk about it and see what you guys liked about it. But I'm excited to share it. I'm excited to show you guys Anthony Ogogo and his performance in the movie, playing Demetrius Watkins, this social media influencer. But yeah, he had fun with the role, and we had a good time hanging out with him on set. So yeah, more to come, man. We're at the finish line. New poster coming soon too.
Yep, I'm definitely looking forward to the end of July as well. And yep, and we'll keep you guys informed if we do another episode next week, because Leland already mentioned he's going to be in Detroit next week for Dynamite. So we'll keep you guys informed if we do another episode there next week. But other than that, I'm Trico. He's Leland, and we'll see y'all soon, y'all.
Peace.